my boxing channel where I spoke on this issue. And I have to come out and I have to speak, and I have to speak very forcefully on this issue. What has transpired over the last day, yesterday, is heinous, evil, and undemocratic. And so every single participant in that travesty, that treasonous travesty, that coup d'etat, that act of terror, every single participant must be locked up. That starts with Donald Trump. That continues with the members of the House of Representatives who were spreading lies in Congress. That goes for the senators who were spreading lies in the Senate. Lock them all up and throw away the key. In other words, make them lose their positions. The senators and Republicans, it's mostly Republicans, the Republican senators and the Republican congressmen responsible for spreading lies about the election, speaking false truths vehemently on the Capitol Hill, must, because in violation of their oath to office, they must be removed from office. Period. The President of the United States must be removed from office. His incendiary comments, and also, let me just say, his lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, also had some incendiary comments, and he must also be held accountable. They should be tried. The president has crossed all boundaries, and he's no longer the president. I don't think of him as the president anymore. I think of him as straightforward a criminal and someone who is unfit for office. As such, he should be removed from office, and it is up to you, the majority of people in the United States of America, where there's over 61% of you, or let's just say that 61% of the electorate, or 70% of you in the country, need to raise up your voice. And just like how we talk about the Snyder Cut, you guys need to post up on Twitter a hashtag saying, remove them, lock them out. Remove the POTUS, lock him up. And it needs to be very clear, because this is on grounds of inciting to conspiracy to overthrow the democracy of the United States of America. That's what exactly happened. And it was an act of terror on domestic soil. It is the same thing like what Timothy McVeigh did and the bomber in Tennessee did. And therefore it must not be tolerated, and immediate action must be put into place. The fact that Donald Trump also did not give the order or whatever, whoever was the head of defense or whoever, did not allow the National Guard of Washington, D.C. to be a part of this process by delaying it from the mayor who actually sent the message for that to happen, and it wasn't happening. It was held back, as well as the FBI and Secret Service and CIA were not present as well. And that was because Donald Trump had held back those things. He did not allow that to happen. The people who work for him, he did not give the okay, or it was supposed to be given an okay or something like that. So that is, as partisan as it is, it was held back. And as a result of that, there will be investigations into those matters as well. Hey, what's up, Damien Anton Vincent? And so those things must be addressed and dealt with immediately. It means immediately the 25th Amendment must be invoked, or Donald Trump will be impeached. Either way, Nancy Pelosi is 100% correct. This man needs to be removed from office, and immediately. The Republican senators also, who have held fast to objecting to Joe Biden being the uh, 46th president of the United States, as well as the Congress people who raised fallacious claims that there was breach of the Constitution in certain states when coming to elections. These are all false. These people must be removed from office immediately. They have violated their oath. They know they are telling lies. And the fact that they were rebutted by the given representatives of the given states was very good. And they now must be removed from office. This is where the swamp is getting cleaned out and purged. Thank God for the Georgia elections and that the two Georgia senators that are replacing the swamp-like senators that were there, Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue. We are thankful that they will be moving out of office. But now, this man, Donald Trump, is not to be allowed on social media, or is he to be allowed in the public in the capacity of president of the United States? This man needs to be stripped of his powers immediately. The next thing he's going to do is either declare martial law, or he's going to try and pardon all these people who committed acts of treason. And he has done it in the past. He has taken the most reprobable, evil, disgusting, vile, lowest level people, and he has pardoned them. So, and this man has been pardoning white supremacists and those kinds of people. So this dude needs to get out of office. He is the worst of what United States of America represents. In fact, he's not even a United States of America representative. He is a representative for a totalitarian government like Kim Jong-un, like Vladimir Putin, like the leader of China. So this man must be removed. He must not be allowed. He must not be allowed. I repeat, he must not be allowed to finish his term. And while some Republicans will think of it as disgraceful, I prefer it be disgraceful than a greater catastrophe and calamity. I saw in Tennessee the suicide bomber who blew up himself. That is a test. And what people have to understand, this is homegrown terror. These are terrorists. These are not normal people. Their minds are gone. You can't save them. Okay? Now, there are other Trump supporters who are seeing this and seeing how far it goes. And we're seeing some of his cabinet, and we're seeing some of his people in his office leave because they cannot tolerate this nonsense, as well as we are seeing now. I hope that the people who voted for Donald Trump, the majority of people who voted for Donald Trump, will realize that this man is evil, period. And he does not care about the democracy. And now we must speak out. This is not a time to be silent. I would prefer if people globally, worldwide, start speaking out, because the majority of people, the more voices are heard, the more people see how much power and that you are in the minority. And these people need to know, because they're emboldened, they feel they can just storm up and overthrow governments just like that. And they almost did. Just imagine if that situation was one in which Nancy Pelosi was shot, or these people were armed, one of the senators or one of the people operating inside of there. Police officers were injured. 4 lives were lost. Okay? And this is supposed to be a peaceful Trump rally. And fuck Fox News. I'm sorry for cursing, but I had to curse this time. Fuck them. Okay? And they need to be sued. Every time they say something inaccurate, you must sue them until they get their act together. That is what Dominion voting systems did. They sued them for defamation of character. And now Fox News needs to be sued. You cannot allow these people to continue down the line that they're going with fallacious lies and rhetoric. You want to say things, you're going to have to get responsible now. People need to get some responsibility, because they've been spreading misinformation, and that misinformation has led to violence on the capital of the United States of America. So now it's about time, shape up or ship home. You cannot be irresponsible with media. You say you are a news outlet, you're not an entertainment outlet, therefore It better come correct. And that goes for OAN and any other media house that has been printing what we call alternate truths. There are consequences to everything. And in order to protect the democracy, people need to clamp down and stop playing the fool with these guys. Don't play games with them. Don't play games with them. This is not a time to play games. Now, for the politicians who have been playing games, you've seen the direct consequences. These same politicians that were arguing for these same crazy ass people who were giving misinformation almost lost their lives yesterday. See, these fools like the jackass who named Hawley and Cruz, those jackasses. Y'all almost lost your fucking life. Okay? And sorry about the F-bomb. Okay? You would have lost your damn life for that shit. They don't care about you. And Trump don't care about you. So they need to get rid of the senator from Texas, and they need to get rid of the senator from Tennessee. Get rid of them. They're lawyers. They know better. They knew they were talking a load of rubbish, but all they could care about is their careers. They have no character. See, character is important. And that's why I shout out to Mitt Romney for having character. I didn't know this man had so much character. And I respect him for it because he will go down in the annals of history as a man with character. But right now there's an insurrection going on, and it's still going on. Because once Donald Trump is in office, it's still going on. He needs to be behind bars in a federal prison, and they throw away the key. And don't let this man go ahead and pardon himself or somebody else pardon him. Don't give him the get out of jail free. He needs to learn consequence. He has not lived a life of consequence. Teach him consequence. He's weak. He's a weak man. Then he wants to talk about other people who don't do his will. They're weak. He's a weak man. So teach him how weak he is. So now it's very important that these people are brought to justice. They are brought to justice, and they are brought to justice immediately. I don't care who you were. Once you were down in that Capitol building and inside of that Capitol building, that's a federal offense. You need to be in a court of law being tried, and then you need to be put into prison. So you will learn, oh, there's certain places you just don't defile. You don't just step up and threaten the Congress and the Senate of the United States of America. No. You don't just get away with that because you know, I don't even want to talk about skin color. I don't even want to talk about race. You don't get away with that, because if you can get away with that, that means anybody can get away with it. You just embolden everyone, all the enemies of the United States of America. Oh, this is out of the way. Okay, we would churn it up. We get them. We just have to spread some lies about these people to get them churned up, and then they'll come down to the Capitol and attack it. We know why this happened. We saw the noose. We saw the federal flag. We know what's going on. But that's besides the point. And the whole world knows what's going on. They're watching everything that's going on because they're smart enough to understand. They understand it's federalism. We understand what it is. But at the same point in time, which is the same thing as Nazism, by the way, if you guys don't realize, which is the same thing that Russia's pushing right now and certain parts of Europe. Okay? But all I'm saying is, and I haven't been very merging in entertainment and focusing on other things. This is a serious threat, and it must be handled as a serious threat. And Nancy Pelosi is doing a great job of that. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Implement the 25th Amendment. And if Mike Pence is too weak to do it, and his cabinet, Donald Trump, and they don't want to handle it in-house, then they will impeach him. And if the Republicans in Congress, it doesn't matter. It will still run through because the majority is now in Congress. The only thing is getting it through the Senate. And I do believe that Senator McConnell will pursue that impeachment, because what has happened is a boundary that has been crossed. And I believe almost all the Democrats are going to be on board to impeach him. And I believe a substantial amount of Republicans will impeach him. So that's going to happen regardless. Now, there are other immediate issues, and I just want to talk to you guys about that real quick. But these guys need to get locked up. They need to get locked up, throw away the key. And then on top of that, Russia needs to get held accountable for what they have done. All right. And we're going to have to investigate Trump's dealings with Russia once the new government comes in. And the other thing that's very important, and I'm not playing around, man. I'm gonna say it how it is. And the more of you speak out on this, just like how we went with the release of Snyder Cut, people around the world need to speak out on this. Twitter needs to light up like a fire, and people need to speak out on this issue. We cannot have authoritarianism in the world, because the freedoms that we had, the freedoms that we have right now to do what we want, freedom of speech, freedom to go wherever you want, and so on, under an autocratic rule. Have you guys seen what the Nazis look like? Have you seen what the Kremlin used to be? Is that the world you want? Do you want a world where you are limited by what you can say and what you can do? Do you want that world? Because that's the world that Donald Trump will give you. Okay? And he is fighting tooth and nail to ensure that that world becomes a reality. That's the world he wants. A world with strongman leaders. We've seen it in the Philippines. We've seen it in China. We've seen it in North Korea. We see it in Russia. To a lesser extent now, it's in Cuba. It was in Venezuela, my next door neighbor right there. Not right now, Venezuela is chopped up into pieces. And you can see what the results of a strongman world ends up being. When the strongman isn't there, the world goes into chaos. So, and that world has to live by lies because it can't sustain itself. So what I want to say to people is this. Democracy is a precious thing. And right now, we have democracy. And right now, I don't give a fuck about, sorry about the F-bomb, but I don't give a fuck about what happened in the past and all that. What we need to know is what we're going to do next. And what we're going to do next is shut these motherfuckers down. We need to lock them down and lock them up. And that's that. Because the act that was committed was the ultimate act against democracy and against freedom. And these people are the ones waving the flag. And these are the ones saying that they believe in freedom. Freedom for who? Freedom for who? That's why I am not smiling. And so I want you guys to go up on social media and make a ruckus and speak on this issue and highlight it and learn about it and research it. This is the time you need to be focused on this. Yes, I would love to talk about movies and I would love to talk about the Snyder Cut and all of that. And there's other good things going on, but you're not going to get my eye off the ball right now. Not right now. Because this is a moment where democracy can slip away really quickly. And all of that won't matter. So start getting people to pay attention to this issue. Mobilize people just like how you did with the Snyder Cut. Get people to hashtag things on Twitter and respond to what is definitely infamy, evil, and an attempt to attack the principles that keep us free in the world right now. Make it your purpose. You are the majority. Your voice counts. Speak out now. I don't care what part of the world you are in. Show them how powerful democracy is, how far it has spread around the world, and why it is that you love what you are able to do right now. Because what you're able to do right now can be taken from you. We talk about the deep state. We talk about all these elitists and people in power and authority high up. And we also want to get checks and balances on those guys. But right now, we got a madman who's tearing up the very fabric of democracy that we all benefit from right now. The fabric that I'm using right now of democracy freely to speak over the airwaves. And that is in jeopardy. And nations from the smallest guy in the nation to the highest, needs to make a statement on this, and it must be a united one in which this man must be removed. He cannot be allowed to spend his full time. Christ I am disciple. I'm sorry about the cursing once again, but I feel very strongly about this, and I felt this was something I had to go and speak on live about. And zero tolerance to anyone. Nobody dared to do this, to go up the steps of the Congress and violate it and ransack it and destroy it. How dare they? No. That is going beyond the boundaries, and there is no mercy for those people. Those people, listen, I think of the gentleman who's right now in Russia, Snowden. Snowden can't return to the United States of America. You know why? Because he disclosed unclassified information to a media person, showing them the way how, illegally people are being monitored. Snowden is a great thing because laws and regulations would change as a result of that, but yet he cannot return to the United States of America because he disclosed classified information. Now you tell me, if he, who did a good act based on conscience, cannot return to the United States because he will be locked up because that's just the law, how the fuck you gonna tell me that these people who went in maliciously into the capital of the United States of America, they just gonna walk free? Fuck out of here. Hell no. The law will be kept. And those who were supposed to do their duty will not only lose their jobs, but they will also be implicated in the act of treason against democracy. And I feel very strongly about this, obviously. Very, very strongly. So, just to let you understand, if Mr. Snowden has to stay in Russia and suffer there for doing things for the best interest of the United States of America, and he has to stay in Russia, oh, hell no. These motherfuckers must be hunted down, brought to court, tried, and then imprisoned. There must be no mercy for a federal criminal like that, who has attempted a coup against the United States of America on the fabric of democracy that they have spread to the world. No mercy. Neither for the president, to the guy who was waving his MAGA hat, walking through the congressional halls and spitting on the fabric of freedom. No mercy. Period. Some things are not negotiable. I've seen mercenaries go into other countries and kill people because they were threats to the democracy of the United States of America. I've seen people do hideous acts. I've read about it. I've seen it in documentaries. I've also seen it in films and movies. And you're gonna tell me after all of that, some of these people got blood on their hands. You're gonna turn around and let these fuckers go into the halls in the central part of the democracy and defame it and defile it? Oh, fuck no. I feel very strongly about it. I feel very, very strongly about it. It has nothing to do with class, race, sex, gender. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the principle of what democracy stands for, what it represents globally, and what other countries of the world held on to it for. It means a lot more than the United States of America. And so it is imperative on the countries that are democratic that they speak out on this issue, on their intolerance to it, because they benefit off of the democracy that America has afforded them. I'm very forceful about it because it's a very serious moment in time. It's a very serious moment in time. And the fact that the head figure of democracy of a state would literally try to destroy the democracy means he must be removed from his office immediately, because he does not represent anymore the oath to which he took, and therefore the democracy to which he represents. He's unfit for office and must be removed. And now the evidence is right in front of your face. He has planned a coup against the very democracy that put him there. This is stuff that we saw in banana republics, and we've seen it in fascist worlds. This is not something of a democracy. And if it looks alien, it's because it is. Therefore, there is no democratic process per se to remove this man. He must simply be removed because he's no longer a part of the democracy. He is a part of himself. He has isolated himself from the democracy. Therefore, he's not subject to the democracy or under the democracy, and therefore must be removed from the democracy. It's very simple. And all those who were complicit with him should also be removed from the democracy and their freedoms taken from them. Because democracy is not unlimited freedom. We all know democracy is freedom within limits. And no one, I mean absolutely no one, is above the Constitution or the law. So that's what I have to say about that. And I hope that that action is taken. I don't really care for telling me about the history and the past and all. I don't give a fuck about that. Sorry about the F-bomb again. I don't care about it. What I care about is that the democracy is preserved. For this is what you, me, and everybody else who lives in a democratic society and a democratic nation is benefiting from. And it's very imperative that that is held together. He must go. He has committed one act too many, and this act is an act against democracy itself. And it must be taken as seriously as possible. I've done my job. Now it's up to you to spread this message. It's up to you to make your voice heard. Not just your voice, but I want you to spread this news with everybody you know and let them spread this news. It must be something where it's a global phenomenon, where the global community says, we want democracy. We don't want what this guy is offering. And he must be removed. It needs to be a universal thing because, see, this guy has a couple little followings. He's got like, what, 30% of the American electorate, maybe 30% of the American population. supports him. But 70% of the American population doesn't, or 61%, whatever it is a bigger percentage. The majority of the people do not support him. The majority of the people do not support his ideals. He does not represent them. And so as a result of that, they need to make your voices heard. You must speak up now. You must speak up now. And for the international community, I have this to say to you. Do not stand idly by as a spectator. You benefit from this democracy. You benefit from it. Show the world that democracy is not an American thing. It is a global thing. Show them by speaking up on this. Denounce it and recommend what you think should be done. Speak and speak forcefully on it. Let this man know, oh, we all watching you and we're going to get you. If you even try to make a wrong move, we're going to get you. That's the only language he understands. He's a coward. He'll back down. He talks about all this and that. He'll back down. Not for very long, but he'll back down. Because if there has to be a world war, as happened with Hitler, it's going to be harder for us. Because there are 3 power centers. 3 strong men we'll have to go through. The only line of defense has been the United States of America. Things will change rapidly for all of us. So be forceful. The freedoms you are experiencing now and entertainment and all of that stuff that sounds good right now can be taken like that. Like that. You saw how the COVID changed things. So speak out on it. Don't let it be a passing thought in the news. Stay focused on it. Follow it and leave comments on it. Let them know that we are much more than the reprobates are. And even among those who, some of them may not be reprobates, so be careful who you speak to. And some of them are just misinformed. But there are those who know better and use it as a means to propagate their agenda. And they are reprobate. So watch out for them. I'm going to catch you guys later. I am Christ, I am disciple. I'm sorry about the F-bombs, but I had to let it go. Peace.